966.
Richard, my one big thing this week, sort of talking a little bit more about the 966. We cover a lot each week, and each week there's usually 9 topics. And one of them is a conversation or an interview, and then there's really 8 separate topics and subjects we cover. We have our one big things. We go through Yellow, where we have smaller segments, talk about issues du jour, but we really cover it all: the economy, policy, topics, both light and serious. The point here is really 2 things for the 966. We do cover stuff that isn't just at the very top of the newspaper, isn't just the top headline stuff that you hear about over and over. Richard, it's interesting because I got, and I sent this to you, a Google News update for Saudi Arabia, which both of us get twice a day. And it's always sort of cool to see that, comparing our own newsletter to it, because I mean, often, and especially recently, it's just 10 different sources of news items. And recently, once or twice, has been all of the same story. And so it's like, okay, so if you want to learn about Saudi Arabia, that's one story from 10 sources. What we're trying to do here is really, get to a lot of different stuff and tell the story of Saudi Arabia and everything going on, because it's just not really talked about. So anyway, my one big thing this week, I think is something worth giving a little bit of extra attention to. It is Saudi Arabia's recent conservation efforts, particularly in preserving Arabian wildlife. This week, Saudi Arabia's Royal Commission for Al-Ula, RCU, has announced the arrival of 2 Arabian leopards who were born in a captive breeding program. We're going to have some photos of these cubs, which are really cute. I think everybody could agree on that.
Yes.
And so just really, really exciting news. In February, the kingdom celebrated its first Arabian Leopard Day and is due to continue marking the day annually on the 10th of February to raise awareness about the endangered big cat. The Arabian leopard is a subspecies of leopard native to the Arabian Peninsula and is classified by the International Union for Conservation of Nature's Red List as critically endangered. So it's just something that doesn't get a lot of attention. I know that this is a very important cause and issue that is supported by Princess Reema Bint Bandar, Saudi Arabia's ambassador to the United States. It's a cause that's very dear to her. She has a nonprofit, Richard, called Catmosphere, which is a catchy name. And last October, I believe it was, they announced the first annual cat walk, which is a walkathon fundraiser for big cats. Catmosphere is focused on 7 big cats that include jaguars, cheetahs, lions, pumas, leopards, snow leopards, and tigers. Richard, you know that I'm a huge cat guy. I guess I'm a small cat guy, but I absolutely love cats. In addition to this, Richard, and we had seen this on social media, but haven't really discussed it yet. The famous London-based publisher, Asaline Publishing, just launched a new book called The Arabian Leopard, which takes a look at the kingdom's efforts in protecting its endangered wildcats. The book is authored by Andrew Spalton, a wildlife conservationist, and details the history and cultural significance of the Arabian leopard to the kingdom. The book is, I haven't bought a copy of it yet, but it's actually under $100. And for a coffee table book of this quality from Asaline is actually quite reasonable. You can go to the Asaline website, and we'll have a link to it again, another promised link that'll be in the comments wherever you're seeing this. Check the book out. It looks really impressive. In addition to big cats, Richard, Saudi Arabia is working on conservation efforts for the Arabian oryx, the sand gazelle, and the Arabian gazelle, all of which became endangered and near extinct as Saudi Arabia began to grow. And environments became challenged and these animals became displaced. So my one big thing this week is big cats, Richard. I think it's really cool that they're doing this. A lot of this is in conjunction with Al-Ula. They're really hoping to get the wildlife there back to as it was, just as they are preserving the monuments and buildings there. So just a little bit of a curveball, something you may not have read about, just very sort of cool work they're doing. It probably doesn't get a lot of thank yous around the world, but it's very interesting.
It is interesting. I would add in your list of endangered species is the mountain ibex, which you're trying to recover.
How did I miss that?
You had a good, healthy list, but I guess of that Arabian leopard, there are only 200 in existence. I mean, It was almost gone. And you mentioned the RCU strategy. I guess in terms of the whole area of Al Ula, they're going to turn 80% of it into nature reserves, and that's not only for animals but wild plants and animals, and wild plants and other things. And this is consistent. There's a growing awareness in Saudi Arabia about conservation, and also an understanding that parts of their tradition have been lost through modernization and progress. Standard issue for any society that's growing and expanding, and the Arabian leopard being one of them, which is endangered. And so they're going back because these are animals that are indigenous to the area, were.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's telling in how they want to move forward, that they're trying to do it in this way that is not only sensitive to the environment, but also a nod to traditions and history for the country itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these big cats, they're very cute, but I imagine them not being fun to encounter in the wild, especially if you are anywhere near a food source that they also might be interested in. I always think about that when I look at my cats, that if they were my size, they would just immediately destroy me because they're such athletic predators. But this is really cool. And kudos to Princess Reema for taking this on. It's really neat. And it's been a consistent thing she's been working on for years now. So.
Yeah, she has. Princess Reema is quite fascinating, well beyond the sort of marquee, which is, here's a first, female ambassador and an ambassador to the U.S. at that. Extremely accomplished, but she has so many other interests, the Catmosphere being one of them. And she's such a natural for this show, and because she's a businesswoman, she's done all sorts of she's founded all sorts of charities and things like the Zahra Best Breast Cancer Awareness Association. She's a founding member of that. Founded Al Khair, which is a social enterprise for elevating the professional capital of Saudi women. Just really an impressive and active and multifaceted individual. This being one of her, I think she's obviously very excited about it. She also does 100 brands, and she, this is 100 brands, Saudi brands. And I think this harks back to her business background. She has done, she's founded a women's day spa, day and gym in Saudi. She's a founder and creative director of Baraboo, which is a luxury handbag brand. This is the top, Saudi diplomat in the U.S. This is all her other previous life, and I'm sure it's ongoing. 100 brands is again about identifying interesting and exciting Saudi brands. She's very much involved with. So anyway, I digress. But the Catmosphere and the conservation of wild cats certainly fits with her in terms of taking up really interesting and interesting projects and trying to make a difference in these key areas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, check out Catmosphere and check out the catwalk. I think we will be doing it this year, which is cool. That'll be my workout for the fall. That'll be
do you take your cats with you?
I don't think so. I don't think they'd want to come. They sort of make the rules around here. And in fact, if one of them pops into the background here, then sorry about that.
I've seen cats on leash. I grew up with cats, but as an adult, it's just dogs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know that dogs are probably cooler. I don't know.
Everybody has their choices. All I know is when people say a cat is great, they say it behaves like a dog.
that couldn't be more true. Barry and Joe are like dogs. What's great though is you can just leave for a weekend and come back, and as long as there's food there, they will barely miss you. So I kind of like that, the sort of low maintenance angle.